This is Entrepreneurs Get Visible, the podcast for people who want more impact, influence, and income. I'm Anna Parker-Naples, and I'll be sharing with you proven methods from leading entrepreneurs that help you get visible as an authority in your field. Because anything's possible when you get visible. We're looking today at what makes a good lead magnet. And before we do that, I think I need to just spend a moment or two going through exactly what a lead magnet is in case you're not familiar with the term. So a lead magnet is something that you provide for free in exchange for an email address. This is how you build your list. And you want to make sure that your lead magnet is appealing to your ideal client, that it answers a problem that they have. Another term for lead magnet is sometimes known as an opt-in or sometimes known as a freebie. But essentially it is how you are giving value for free in exchange for that ethical bribe of getting that email address into your mailing list so that you have permission to promote to people and to get them into your mailing list and contact them on a regular basis, which is crucial for your sales. Doesn't matter how important we think social media is, you want people away from social media because you don't own. On an email list, it's much easier to make sure that the right people are seeing what you're sending out. On Facebook, we don't really know who's seen what. The other thing is with social media is that at any time you could be put in Facebook jail. You could have your account closed down. You could lose access. There are all sorts of things that could happen with social media that if you don't build your email list, you're really going to regret it. So what is a lead magnet? What might that look like? And I'm sure you'll have come across these many times before, but essentially it could be a PDF, which might take the form of a workbook or an info sheet or a checklist. It might be an ebook. It might be a video series or a one-off video giving information that you've pre-recorded. It could also be a podcast episode that you have packaged up that maybe you don't have hosted elsewhere, that you are giving real value within that audio. It could also be a webinar. Perhaps you're driving people to a particular webinar in order to do a sale. And it could also be audio tracks that you have created. So, for example, things that I use that work really well, I have checklists that I use. At the moment, I've got my social media visibility checklist. If you want to go and check that out, it's on my page, annaparkernaples.co.uk/get visible. I also have a checklist for my podcast launch, for the launch strategy to make sure that your podcast doesn't just get out there, but is really impactful. Following exactly the processes that I've used to get my podcast to number 3 in the UK and number 9 globally. So they are things that I use currently as my lead magnets. Other things that I've used in the past are meditation and guided visualization audios. I've also used video if I want to teach a particular thing that I know that I can do easily. I've also done things such as webinars. Although actually I find that I get better success if people are already a little bit warm rather than a cold lead. They already know a little bit more about me before I drive them to that webinar. So there are all sorts of things that you could create. The really important thing is that you create something of value. And how do you know that what you're creating is something that people want? So the first thing that I would look at when I was creating a lead magnet would be to go into my group, into my communities on Facebook, and I would be asking questions about what people are struggling with. What issues do they have? And I'd be watching the words and the phrasing that people are using, because they're going to give me clues about the kind of language, the kind of wording that I need to have within my lead magnet. I'd also be going into other groups and being a fly on the wall or taking part in other people's conversations on their posts and threads, not just in groups, but also on LinkedIn, understanding what my ideal client avatar is having as a problem. Because what you want for your lead magnet is for it to offer the solution or a taste of that solution. And you do want your lead magnet to be valuable to them, to get them a little bit of that result. So other lead magnets could actually be like a challenge. Challenges are very popular on Facebook at the moment. But what you might do before you bring people to your challenge is have a PDF download that they got first to get a flavour of you and then drive them into the challenge, which would then drive them into your sales. So it's thinking about what is it you're going to be selling to them once they are in your list? Where is the lead magnet driving them towards? Because you want to make sure that there isn't a disconnect between what you're giving for free and what you're selling. So in some respects, you do need to think with the end in mind. What course, what program, what service am I taking them towards? What do I want them to know me for? Because this might well be the first interaction they have with you. Lead magnets are brilliant for bringing in cold leads, and then you warm them up over your nurture sequence, the series of emails that sits behind each of the interactions you then have via your mailing list. So first of all, you're going to go and do that research. What's your ideal client struggling with? What language are they using? And language is so important because that's how we feel connected. That's whether we feel like we resonate with someone's message. You need to watch the language. And if you're not sure exactly what to create, go in and ask questions. I'm thinking about running a PDF or a freebie that helps with this. What term speaks to you most? And run a poll on it. A, B, or C. Which of these phrases speaks to you most? Polls are amazing because even if people wouldn't take the time to comment for you, they will just tap a button to take part in a poll. So use that facility on social media. You want to make sure within the creation of the lead magnet that somewhere you are positioning your credibility and your value so that you're using this opportunity for people to be more aware of where you stand within your industry and that you are someone credible and that they should be listening to you, that there is value in what you're sharing with them because of who you are. I would also highly recommend that your lead magnet, you get it designed well, that what you put out there is good quality because, again, this is cold people, cold leads coming in to meet you potentially for the first time. And those first impressions really, really count. So make it appealing to your ideal client. Get it outsourced to someone who is an expert in making your graphics look amazing. It really does want to come across as though it's high quality and appealing all at the same time. What I would do once it was created is take screenshots of each of the, if it was PDF, for example, I would take screenshots of each of the pages of that PDF, and then I would layer them together in something like Canva or PicMonkey, perhaps with transparent background, so that I could show people a snapshot of what they're going to get when they sign up. People do like to know what they're receiving, so that's one of the tips that I would use. So I'm going to recap now about what makes a good lead magnet. So first of all, you want to make sure it answers a problem that your ideal clients are having. So you need to do your research. It could be a PDF, which might be a workbook, an information sheet, or a checklist. Could be an ebook, could be a video or a how-to series, video series. It could be towards a webinar or a challenge, or it could be an audio that you have created. There are so many options, but it must be relevant to your ideal client and it must solve a problem because you want them, when they see it being advertised, when they see you promoting it, you want them to go, oh my goodness, that's for me. I know that's for me because it's clear it's for me. The language speaks to me. That's why the research part is important. And sometimes you have to go back to the drawing board and think, why aren't I getting enough leads on this? Why aren't I getting enough people joining my list? And very often what you're putting out there is of value, but you've got the wording wrong. So do the research first and tweak it if it needs to be. Get it designed, make it great, get pictures of it so people know what they're going to sign up for, and then you can connect it to your CRM system, maybe MailChimp or maybe ActiveCampaign or ClickFunnels, whichever is your preference. But make sure that your lead magnet stands out from the crowd and positions you as an authority. Thank you for listening to Entrepreneurs Get Visible. To get your free checklist on how to raise your profile and to find out about our community, go to annaparkernaples.co.uk/get visible.